The last major Confederate offensive west of the Mississippi. On this day in history, October 21st, 1864, in what is now Kansas City, Missouri, the Union handed the Confederacy a decisive defeat during the Battle of Westport. In September of 1864, Major General Sterling Price and his army in Missouri were engaged in Price's Raid, a campaign aimed at capturing the state to turn the tide against the Northerners. However, his raid would not be the swan song he had hoped it would be. Price's army was made up of 12,000 men, and after losing at the Battle of Fort Davidson, he realized that the heavily fortified city of St. Louis would crush him if he were to engage. Price turned west to threaten Jefferson City, another Union stronghold, but ultimately decided that this city also would be fortified and unable to be captured. So he marched on, heading further west to Fort Leavenworth, but due to light skirmishes, disease, and desertion, his army was reduced to only 8,500 men. Learning of this, Major General Samuel R. Curtis, commander of the Federal Department of Kansas, assembled his troops into the Army of the Border with the hopes of pushing back Price. His initial effort, however, was only able to muster about 4,000 troops because the governor of Kansas, Thomas Kearny, was wary of drawing troops away from voting districts as election time approached. When Price turned and started marching west, Kearny had no choice but to relent, and the Kansas militia joined the Army of the Border. In a series of battles that led up to the final conflict at Westport, the Confederates seemed to be winning, but none were decisive. Eventually, Curtis made a stand, and Price moved south to outflank, which set the stage for Westport. The action went back and forth, with the Confederates gaining an early advantage, but they had to replenish their ammunition, and the advantage quickly turned to the Union side. As the fighting drew on, more Kansas militia units joined the Army of the Border, making the situation for Price and his army incredibly difficult. The battle came to a stalemate, as neither side could push the other back. Conflict came to a critical moment when Curtis found a flanking position, and the Confederates had to scramble and retreat. The decisive defeat destroyed any chance Price had at claiming Missouri, and the Battle of Westport kickstarted a significant chain of events that had little to do with the town itself.